Okay, so it's 5:15 on October 28th, so I'll call this meeting of the New Ulm Human Rights Commission to order. First thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the August 26th meeting. We did not have a meeting in September because there was a lack of a quorum, so it was canceled. So everybody just take a peek at the meeting minutes from the August meeting and review. Let me know if there's questions or changes.
Oh, here.
It's a lot of minutes.
It was a big meeting in August.
Would you like to put in here?
And just let me know as you're reviewing if you have any questions or changes.
Okay, sign
Did we ever, I see that Katie, you had contacted the Grand about, you're right next to me. Well, you had contacted the Grand about displaying the posters and essays. Like, do you know where we're?
And I did not follow up with them, so I'm not sure where we're at with that.
Well, and I know if there's not, I know we're getting to that, but if there's not a whole lot, maybe we can see how many we get first.
Do we have, weren't we saving money for something? Or was it the speaker who's no longer speaking?
That was canceled as of the last meeting, so the remaining money in the budget was for that poster and essay contest.
Okay,
Yep.
that's right. I remember now. And is that going to be enough? I mean, do we have enough?
I think it should be within the budget. Lisa did really intense math and figured it out. Because our math wasn't right.
There are no changes. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I motion to approve the minutes as written.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Sign. That motion passes to approve the minutes. Next is the budget report, so that is attached as well. We have $1,204.01 left, and that covers our awards for the poster and essay contest, which we'll discuss more as we get to it, kind of where we're at with that. The other question that Lisa had was we had approved, and this isn't actually in our budget, but we had approved money for candy for the welcoming event, and I don't know that anybody ever submitted that to her.
I still have a receipt.
Perfect. That answers that question, but that money will come out of that grant, the separate grant money, not out of our budget. So basically everything we have left is allotted to the prizes. Any questions about the financial report? Okay, we don't need any motions on that. So next is the events committee. So the first is the South Central Minnesota Pride Fest Parade, summary of that parade, which was held on September 7th. I'm not sure who was there. I was not there. Does anybody have any notes or summary on that?
Sure. It was me and Casey, and it was a wonderful event. There was a great turnout from everyone in the community, and we went down and went to the park and saw wonderful performers and just a lot of booths from people who were there to support. It was really a lovely experience.
I thought it was cool again this year, seeing people from New Ulm and people saying, oh, like recognizing people from New Ulm. So it's nice to have that presence because we don't have an event here. So people are clearly going to Mankato looking for that. So it's nice to have representation there.
Awesome, thanks.
Thanks for attending on our behalf.
All right, and then the second thing is the Rural Welcoming Initiative. So a summary of our Welcoming Week event, which was held on Friday, September 20th. If you remember, that's the event we pulled together pretty quickly. I feel like it went really well.
You guys rocked.
It really was fun.
Maybe that's the key to our success is like planning it very quickly, and we have to do it. So I feel like we had a pretty good turnout. I think the one thing somebody said to me is that we could have advertised in more places, and the feedback to them was just like we only had so much time and opportunity. So if we decide to do it again in the future, just maybe starting earlier and doing a little more advertising and pulling in people. But otherwise, I think we, like, for the amount of time we had, the participation from vendors and the amount of people that came were good. I think it was a really good idea, whoever it was, to have it in the parking lot here because it was visible, because people just kind of stopped when they saw the food trucks. And so I think that was really good as well. Anybody else have?
I think some diversity of food trucks,
gonna
just
say
because
the
there
same
were
thing.
like 3 taco trucks
Yep.
out of the 4 food trucks. And I mean, the food was great, but
Yeah.
and again, I know that was a function of
yeah.
the time,
Nope,
the
I
time
totally
limitation that
agree.
we had. So I think it was great. I think people got a lot of positive feedback. You know, people kind of, if they were coming in from the side and going past our table and just trying to engage with people, they were really excited to be there. And yeah, and there was just a lot of kind of flyby, like, oh, I just was wondering what this was all about, and stopped. I thought this location was perfect. I think it was really fun.
I think in the time that I've lived here, that's the most like unique and diverse group I've ever seen
Yeah,
together.
definitely.
Like, it was really cool to see.
It was.
Is that, I don't know if anyone knows, or maybe Mayor, if you can speak to this, but is that
What I'd like
grant?
to make a comment is, first of all, I applaud this commission for taking that project on and making it happen. One of the things that we are including in our strategic plan, our 5-year plan, is while we take pride in our German heritage, it's important for us to validate, first of all, recognize, acknowledge, and validate the diversity in our community. And this event that you held is one way for us to do it. So I'm hoping we continue, and that we also look at other diverse groups in the community and uplift their efforts. I know there were several festivals this year. One was initiated this last year. And I'm hoping that through this group and others that we could keep things going. So thank you so much for taking this on and making it a success.
Yeah, thank you. for the
Do we
money.
know if that's a grant that would be available next year and what that would look like to pursue that again?
We can look at that. It just happened to fall in our lap. It was nothing that we solicited. It just was, okay, you can have this $500 if you want to do something. And of course, none of us knew what that meant. And again, this was a perfect group to tie it into. So we'll check on that and see if those dollars are there. And if not, there might be some other dollars that can be thrown into the mix to make things happen.
And I would say overall, it really didn't cost us much. I don't think we spent the full 500 of that grant, just because the food trucks came. We didn't have to pay a fee.
It was the bouncy house
The
mostly,
bouncy
right?
house, a little bit of candy, and I feel like there was, the advertising.
And stuff, yep.
Yeah. So that's really what we spent the money on. So we could keep it in mind of, even if we don't have a grant, if there are other dollars, or we could allot a few $100s of maybe our budget next year, if we just kind of plan for it ahead of time. Because it actually did not cost us a lot, especially since we used this parking lot. It was outside. We kind of just told the vendors, it's, you bring your own stuff, you set up, there's no fee. We didn't charge a fee. They didn't charge us a fee for the food truck. So that was one nice thing about it. It wasn't super costly to put on.
I'd also like to make a comment that we consider adding it, additional funds into the budget and asking City Council for approval. I can't guarantee that it would be approved, but I think it's something worthwhile and in keeping with what I hope is our strategic plan.
Awesome.
Yeah,
In a month, imagine what we could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we had, yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think, a couple things we could use funding for would be trash cans, tables, chairs, a porta potty.
Yeah.
Perhaps. And I think, and we had talked about this a little bit afterwards, I think it'd be nice to, given more time, solicit more exhibitors from the nonprofit realm of town, and maybe not with the vendors, and just try to get some more people there. I mean, who doesn't love to come display at a no fee
Absolutely.
fair, I think it's a great way to to extend groups' reach without costing them anything. And like you said, doesn't cost us much at all. So
Yeah, I think those are very good points to keep in mind for next year. I looked around, I was like, there are no garbage cans.
no garbage. Yeah. I mean,
Asking
Yeah.
about bathrooms.
Yeah, so just like things you don't think of until you're standing there. So I think
Yeah.
that's, a really good call out too.
and I don't think there was trash left behind or
No.
anything like that. So that was good.
Yeah.
Cleaned
People
up
were tidy,
after
but yeah,
themselves, yeah.
the easier we can make that, the better.
The other thing I thought about as I was there was that there was no signage or anything as to what it actually was.
Oh, yeah.
So there
That'd be a
was
good one.
a lot of questions about that, which is good because it allowed for engagement. But maybe a banner about just saying welcoming event.
Yeah.
Or even that, I think there's like maybe the banker, somebody has like a visual
The digital billboard
yeah,
thing.
digital billboard. Maybe we could put something on
Yeah,
up there
that's a
just
good
like
idea.
during the event so
Oh, yeah.
people know.
All right, any other comments on that?
I had heard people saying maybe we could get shells to do like a beer cart or something like that
Yep.
too.
Good idea also. I think there's lots of opportunity
Oh, for sure.
in that event. Okay, the next we have the Human Rights Award. So it is that time of year that we seek nominations for the Human Rights Award. So the nomination form and the press release is attached. So the nomination form is just the form that somebody would submit, and they would submit it to Lisa at this email address. Last year's deadline was November 17th, so just keep that in mind as we're talking about it. And then there's a draft of a press release. And this was last year, so we're a little bit behind, obviously, this year because we didn't have a meeting in September, so we're probably going to want to push that back because last year we put this out on September 18th. We're already to the end of October. But this is each year the New Ulm Human Rights Commission selects an individual or organization to receive its annual Human Rights Award. The Human Rights Commission is currently accepting nominations for its 2025 award. It'll be the recipient of the New Ulm Human Rights Commission Annual Human Rights Award should be an individual, activist, or organizations or businesses in the New Ulm area that have worked towards social justice and the betterment of life for a protected class, a person or organization that has made a significant contribution to the preservation and advancement of human rights. Human rights are considered the fundamental rights that humans have by the fact of being human and that are neither created nor can be, I cannot pronounce that word, abrogated by any government. These include cultural, economic, and political rights such as right to life, liberty, education, and equality before law, and right of association, belief, free speech, information, religion, movement, and nationality. The Minnesota Department of Human Rights is a state agency within the governor's cabinet responsible for enforcing Minnesota Human Rights Act. The Human Rights Act is a state law prohibiting discrimination in Minnesota. Every person in Minnesota is protected by the Human Rights Act because every person, based on their personal characteristics such as a person's race or sex, belongs to one or more of the protected classes below: race, color, creed, religion, national origin, sex, marital status, familial status, disability, public assistance status, age, sexual orientation, local Human Rights Commission activity. So we basically just have to decide if we want to make any changes to this, when we want to send it out, and then what the deadline will be for the nominations. So it looks like we sent it out September 18th of last year. The deadline was November 1st, so it was like a little over a month and a half that we gave for nominations.
The only thing would be then we'd be looking at doing the award later then, most likely, because if we don't receive them until the December meeting, which we sometimes don't even have a December meeting.
Which I
unless we wanna
believe
make sure
this-
that we can commit to a December meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, because we'd have to, I mean, the deadline can be whenever, but then we just have to
Make sure that we have it
select.
planned.
Yeah,
And
make sure we have a plan. I know that the ceremony last year was a lot late. It was like, I think it was the end of March.
yeah.
So we do have some time for the actual ceremony for sure. But yeah, we'd have to make sure that once we got nominations, we have a meeting that we can select one. And I would say, I think the only change is obviously the year. Otherwise, I feel like everything else.
Do we want to look at having it closed down or before the December meeting, and hopefully we can get a December meeting to work? I think we did end up meeting
We
last
did. We
year.
met in between, like the holidays
Okay.
last year. Yeah, we could do that. Have the deadline be December.
Maybe within like the first Like the second week?
second week. I
Because
won't,
then
yeah, I don't know that I
time
want to
to
do it
meet.
the first because that would only give us a month. So like December,
December 13th is a Friday.
yeah, we could do December 13th. Our meeting would be scheduled on the 23rd this year, but like I said, we can reach out to reach out to Lisa and see if there's a different date that works, kind of as we're getting closer, because we'll have a meeting in November and then the December meeting.
Let's go with the 13th then. I think that, I'd make a motion to set the deadline to December 13th.
I would second that motion.
Okay, all approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Alright, that motion passes. So we will have Lisa change the date on this and put the correct dates in, and then we will, the nomination deadline will be December 13th, and then we'll discuss it at our December meeting. And we'll just put December meeting, and then we'll figure out the date later. Okay. Next item, that is it for the events committee report. The next is the education committee report. So that's the poster essay and video contest. Our deadline is November 1st. Not a lot to do with this, but I did get an email from Lisa today that so far they have one poster entry, and that is all we have. Like I said, the deadline is November 1st, so all we can really do is wait and see for the next meeting what we get, and then in the next meeting we can discuss the plan for selecting a winner.
It's really disappointing because we were really hoping we'd get more this year. I don't know if this is something that's coming back or not, though.
Yeah,
to
you
where
guys,
we
I mean,
were
you guys did a really
pre-COVID.
good job of getting the word out this year. I feel
Tried,
like,
yeah.
yeah, we're very organized, so it might, like you said, it might just be something that maybe we need to.
Maybe it's run its course, and we
Yeah.
need to look at a different way
Something
to
else.
engage the students, because I think that's the point, is to engage the kids.
Yeah. So we'll just bring that to the next meeting.
Does the Human Rights Award, is it a monetary award?
Nope, it's just it's an award, and then you get a plaque, and then we do a little ceremony, and then it is on the plaque out here as well at City Hall. All right, so other business, the community needs survey. We just want to have a discussion about how we want to continue using it, just because we just started it this year and we had a few responses which we reviewed, but how do we want to continue, or if we want to continue using the survey?
How many responses do we have, do we know?
Still 4.
Just still
yeah,
4.
I mean, we haven't disseminated anything really. So I know we had a QR code to scan at the fair and at the welcoming event, but I don't know. I mean, I maybe told one person about the QR code there, and that was all I really had the chance for. So, I mean, I think it's always important when you're developing a strategic plan to get voices. So how do we do that? Especially if we do have funds left over from not having prizes for this contest, maybe we have some funds to put that word out in the journal or something.
Yeah,
I mean-
I really like the idea of the survey. I think having it on a QR code and making it easy for people, I think it's good. I think it's really good to collect information from the community because we want to know what they feel is important. So I would say I personally feel like we should continue to kind of try to work with it because more information can't hurt.
Is there
Yeah.
a way to link it on like the city website,
That's
or
what we need
posting
to
it
be able
on
to
city
do.
Facebook?
Yeah, we need the city, since we don't have our own page and our own Facebook page, we would need the city to disseminate it on their
But what
social
does that
media
look
or
like?
website. Would we work with Lisa on that, or are you okay with
I
that?
would suggest that you would work with Lisa, and if it's not Lisa Grothwell, she would then work with her peer.
Okay.
Lisa Pelzel. One of the two does work on the website.
Okay.
'Cause that's what I was thinking too, that we get it on the website and maybe even do a press release.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if there were maybe a deadline, not that we would have to be super, super.
I wonder if we could
But if we said, kind of put the word out that we're really looking for input and going forward, we'd like to be able to have what are people's concerns, and that can help direct, resources speakers we may have, or, you know, and maybe people, if they're really asked and, you know, feel like that we really want that info, because I think right now it's, you know, I mean, the fair was just people we happened to catch. and-
absolutely.
Which is, you know, good. I mean, that's certainly good, but, you know, maybe we need to really just kind of push it.
Yeah.
When our event season is kind of done at this point, so
Yeah, you're not gonna get,
unless you're doing it online, that'd be the only way to
you're not gonna
get
get
it at this
traffic on
point.
that.
Yeah, I think putting it online, putting it a press release is a great idea. I love that. I mean, the journal is one avenue, but that's not a lot of people get print copies or,
Right.
you know, so anything we can do on social media would be really good. Kathleen, like how many people respond to the city surveys when you're talking about strategic plan?
When we worked on the strategic plan, they were hoping for 300, and it was upwards of 400.
Oh, wow.
So it was very good response according to the people that are facilitating the strategic plan. Yeah.
So we have a little bit of work.
We have
to
a
do.
little work to do, but you know, it's good to temper expectations, right?
But yeah, I also, all the things that you said, I think it's good to solicit information from the community. So I think next year we maybe try to work on getting it on the website and also still pushing it at the events and see how far we get by the end of the year.
Are there places we could have the QR code at, you know, like I'm thinking of like the clinic. Is there a spot in the
library.
clinic where you could have, you know, hey, the Human Rights Commission is looking for your input? And, I mean, I don't know if the clinic would allow that, but, you know, or churches or, you know, the library.
Chamber of Commerce, maybe.
Yeah, just, you know, if we just kind of had that, a variety of places, if places would let us.
I'd be able to make one of those little visual things, like if we want to print 20 of them and see if people want to just take them and try to ask people to put them up.
Speaking of that, I mean, kind of along those lines, I got contacted by the Wellness Collective. I mean, to be fair, I am on their board, but they said that December is Human Rights. I tried to pull it up on my email. She emailed it. Human Rights Awareness Month. And she was wondering if the Human Rights Commission wanted to partner. They do. Would the Human Rights Commission be interested in sponsoring our free class Friday in December in honor of Human Rights Awareness Month? I didn't think we had any more money in the budget for that this year. The donation would be $500 to cover a month, $250 to cover half a month. And I told her that likely we wouldn't have that much money left in the budget this year. But in thinking like that, a partnership like that, we could have like the QR code there and people who come for the class could take the survey and blah, blah, blah. So just thinking about partnerships within the community.
When do they need to know by? Because we could potentially have
Some left over after the poster
good chunk
stuff,
if
yeah.
we aren't getting.
Yeah, that's a good question. I can ask them.
Well, and at minimum, like we won't have that won't work. I was gonna say we won't have another meeting, like a meeting till the end of November, but we'll know by Friday how many entries we have. So we'll sort of be able to eyeball how much money we'll have left, but then we won't have time to have a meeting to make a motion on it, is the only issue.
We could at the end of November, but I wonder
Yeah,
if that
I
would
wonder
be
if that's
too
too tight.
late. I mean, I think it'd be worth.
I'll ask. I mean, it all depends. I'll ask how they do their, because if they're going to have if they're, I'll just ask. Because I'm going to speculate and I have no idea.
Do we need a motion to pursue this?
I think
or
I think we probably need, yeah.
a motion
look
to
into
at
the
least
partnership,
Try to
yeah.
pursue it.
I'll make a motion.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Okay, that motion passes. Obey here, you're willing to just, okay, perfect. Look into it. As far as the
Should I make like a graphic?
survey,
that-
do we need a motion on that? I
I
don't
mean,
know.
that's not a budget.
Yeah, it's not a
thing. I
budget
think we
thing.
can-
Yeah, so I would just go for it,
Okay.
and then we can kind of keep an eye on it.
Maybe I'll
and
bring them to the November meeting.
Maybe we'll just keep it, why don't
People
we
can take
just
whatever.
keep it too as like a standing item for a couple months? To just touch base on, are we getting responses? What do we want to do with this? Do we, you know what I mean? Do we need a more formal like
Move to table it.
deadline or whatever? So let's just keep it, yeah, on the agenda.
Are you going to work with Lisa or ask Lisa about
Yeah,
the?
I'll
okay,
ask
you
Lisa
got that.
about posting it on social media and a press release.
Okay.
Next thing on other business is the student commissioner vacancy. We have not received any applications to date. So if you know of anybody who'd be interested, I would encourage them to apply. There's info. They just submit the application to Lisa. But we don't have any applications. We don't have any current student
Was
members.
Sam's done?
Sam's was done. So both of our student
I've heard at
members.
least one that's interested, so I'll push them to.
Was that on the city's Facebook page? I can't-
And I
okay,
believe there was-
thought I
It's on their
saw-
website.
It's on their
for sure.
website.
I thought I saw it.
Yeah, so any students interested, just encourage them to apply. Legislative update, I do not have anything. Does anybody else have anything? Okay. And then the city council is me. I don't have anything that applied that was relevant for since the last time we met. And then we do need to appoint a new person so we need to appoint it from October through December. October is obviously already almost done, so November, December. So would there be anybody willing to do that? And you can just watch them online, or you don't actually have to go to them in person. It's fairly easy. And then just anything that's relevant that applies to the Human Rights Commission, then you just bring back to the meeting.
I'd be willing to do that.
Okay. Thank you. Then the next item, current human rights issues. We don't have anything on the agenda. Is there anything else anybody would like to bring to our attention for current human rights issues?
Being that there is an election coming up, as the Human Rights Commission, we should just say, get out and vote. Make sure that that's a good
Absolutely.
opportunity for you to voice your opinions and your cares for our society and for our country.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And also, I'd like to share with you that we'll be looking for another person for this commission. If you have any names of individuals you think may be interested, please forward those to me. Generally, the process is I make an appointment to the city council, and the city council approves. So we will have an open seat. And also, we've got another position that I have to check with the person to see if they're willing to re-up. But we'll be looking, I do have a couple of names that have been forwarded to me, but also want to make you aware as people sitting on this council or in this commission and understanding what the responsibilities are. Please forward those names to me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so the date of the next meeting is going to be Monday, November 25th. With that, that is all the items on our agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd move to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, all approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.